Hi, welcome to Adventures and Things. I'm Michael Wright, and today I have a great rainy day story for you that I think you're really gonna want to hear. I get robbed.
Walking and talking, hiker that sings. I'm Michael Wright. This is Adventures and Things.
So my original intent with this video was to document my journey from Isla Ometepe in Nicaragua to Puerto Viejo in Costa Rica. Now that's going 500 kilometers from the Pacific side of Nicaragua down to the Caribbean coast of Costa Rica. And this is supposed to be about a 12-hour journey. And it started off okay. 4:30 in the morning, I get up. I have to take my scooter down to where I rented it from so the guy could inspect it and I can get on my ferry for 5:30. It's about a half an hour drive to get there. I show up for 5 o'clock. He's nowhere to be found. 5:20, he decides to show up and do an inspection of the scooter. He's trying to tell me this is wrong, but I took a picture of the scooter before I took off with it. So I show him, I was like, no, it was already like that when I rented it, blah, blah, blah. He gives me my money back. I jump onto the ferry, like last minute, like, no, stop. No, it wasn't quite like that, but I get onto the ferry and it's an hour ferry ride to the mainland and I have to catch my Tika bus for 7 o'clock. So this takes me to 5:30 to 6:30 to get across to the mainland, and then I have to take a cab over to Rivaz, which is about a 10-minute cab ride. So I have 20 minutes to spare. I can't waste any time at all. So I get there, everything's fine, everything's great. I'm supposed to be there 45 minutes early, but that wasn't gonna happen. So I get on the bus and we drive down to the border where you give your bus driver your passport and everything. They take it in through customs and they do all that work. And then when you get there, you're greeted by these people just trying to sell some trinkets, trying to sell whatever. And it's all great and stuff like that. They're just trying to make an honest living. Some guys are selling coconut water and I'm just like, yeah, cool, man, I'll take one of those. And then you have these other people that are really scumbags of the world. Like, they're just terrible people. They took me aside. They tried to tell me that because I only stayed in Nicaragua for 5 days out of the 90, that I had to pay this guy a certain amount of money to get my passport back. It didn't make any sense whatsoever. And I was just like, you know what? I want to talk to the bus driver that has my passport before I give you any money. I'm not just going to give you money because you say that. And so anyways, he was getting frustrated with me and he was following me around like a lost puppy or something like that, trying to get money from me. And I'm just like, listen, I need my passport. So anyways, a quick tip, if someone pulls you aside to do that, just ask to see your passport, ask to see the bus driver that has your passport, and generally they'll leave you alone. So we move on, we get going through customs of Costa Rica, which was really easy. It didn't take long at all. And then I asked my bus driver, I was like, hey, I need to go to Puerto Viejo. Does this bus go there? He's like, no, this just goes to San Jose, but if you want to go there, it's easier for you to get off in Liberia and then catch a direct bus from Liberia to Puerto Viejo. Okay, cool. So the problem with that is he lets me off on the side of the highway where I'm just kind of stranded. But cabbies obviously know that this is a thing. The taxis know that. So there was 2 waiting there for me. They took me there, dropped me off in Liberia. I was like, oh, thank you. Here's some money. And I get to Liberia. I asked the lady if there's a direct bus to Puerto Viejo. She says, no, you have to take the bus from here to San Jose. Awesome. I could have just stayed on that bus and saved a bunch of time. Whatever. So the other kicker is that bus doesn't come for another 2 hours. So I have 2 hours to kill in Liberia, which I go and get a slice of pizza because I really like to embrace the culture where I am. No, it was either that or like McDonald's or Burger King or something like that. So I decided to get the pizza. Anyways, so I wait the 2 hours, get on the bus, get going to San Jose, which is like I think it was like a 6-hour bus ride. And I hear these English-speaking people behind me who have traveled around a bit, so I asked them, I'm like, how do I get to Puerto Viejo? They tell me I have to ride this bus to the last station, get into a cab to take me to the next bus station, but I might have missed the last bus out of San Jose to Puerto Viejo. So I was like, okay, well, they didn't tell me that in Liberia. They said it would have been fine. Whatever, it happens. So I get into a cab. And first, I'm going to give you this tip that was given to me. To get into a cab, make sure it's a metered cab and make sure it has its stickers and everything. It's a legitimate cab. You're not just getting into a random stranger's car. So Everything checks out. I get into it. I tell the guy where I need to go. He takes me to that bus station and he says, oh, the last bus has already left. And he calls his friend, and his friend's like, oh, you have to take him to this other bus station where he could catch the bus. So he just takes off driving, and then I was like, okay, well, where are we going? That's the bus station. Oh, no, I have to take you to this other bus station where you can catch the bus. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, how much is that going to cost me? Oh, I'll let you know when we get there. I was like, no, I need to know now. But this whole communication back and forth is going on his translation device on his phone. So it's taking forever. And by this time, we're out of town. And I said, no, take me to a hostel right now. I don't have the money to pay for this. And I'm like, how much is it going to be? He's like, well, it'd roughly be about $400. $400? No, take me back to San Jose and drop me off at a hostel or a really cheap hotel, whatever. And he's like, well, it's $200 for this. And I'm like, no way, I didn't agree to this. He gets on the phone with his friend, and we're pulled off to the side of the road. It's foggy, it's dark, I can't see 10 feet in front of me. His friend pulls up, comes up to the car, starts yelling at me in English, telling me I have to pay the money. He's wielding a machete, and I'm just absolutely terrified. So I give him the money, whatever it was like $220 or something like that. And then the cabbie is just like, oh, I'll take you to that hostel now. And I'm like, oh, wow, you're such a nice fella. So he's like, oh, but I'll take you to the place right across from the bus station so you can just go there. And I'm like, oh, you're such a nice guy. Keeps referring to me as his mi amigo. And I'm just like, yeah, I understand that in Spanish, but I don't think the translation really makes sense right now because I am not your friend. So he takes me to this roach motel, literally a roach motel. I find a roach in the shower. And anyway, so just being robbed really sucked. It was terrifying. I was shaking. I just, the guy's holding the machete. I don't know what's going to happen. So the next day I get up, I walk over to the bus station. I pay $10 to get on the bus, which takes me right to Puerto Viejo, where I am right now. And I couldn't be happier being in the Caribbean. Although it's raining right now, it's still amazing. You're on the Caribbean coast. It's just got such a chill vibe, and it's amazing. And I could dwell on the fact that I got robbed and taken for all of my cash, which was like $200. But what became a 12-hour journey turned into a 30-hour journey. But it was an awesome journey. I met a lot of great people, had a lot of great experiences, like the birds flying by my face on the road, taking the ferry an hour to catch my Ica bus. I met a fella in Nicaragua that I talked to there, and just, it was a great all-in-all experience. Driving from one side of the country to the other side of the country was absolutely incredible. It was such a beautiful drive and just made it worth it. And if I did it at nighttime, I wouldn't have got to see the country quite the same. So I'm thankful for that. Yeah, sure, it cost me way more money than I expected, but that is the dark side of travel sometimes, is not everything is gonna go as planned. Not everything is gonna go as well as you thought it was gonna go. So just keep that in mind, but always look at the positives of it. Like me meeting people, me finally getting here and having a great time, just being in the tropical rain and everything, and just stay positive when you're on your travels. And that's the best advice I can give you for that. Anyways, if you have horror stories that you'd like to share, let me know in the comments below. If you like this, click the me likey button, and if you haven't already, maybe subscribe and go check out some of my more sunshine and lollipop kind of travel videos. And well, see you later.